Well, oops, I forgot. There's another page. Sorry, you got excited, everything was over, and then you get to sit and do your homework, but you got to bear with this last page here. So this is a strange shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually a pentagon, isn't it? 5-sided. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're asking us to find these sides right here that I've crossed out the answer. So, dang it, all these are the answers. Ignore those. You can still see through it. Whatever. Here's a right triangle. 1 squared plus 1 squared equals that squared. So 1 squared plus 1 squared equals, we'll call that c squared. 1 plus 1 is 2 equals c squared. So clearly, the square root of these is the answer to this. So c equals the square root of 2. That's this guy right here. Okay? Now, if I kind of turn my paper like this, if that's radical 2 and that's 1, what's that? So again, just look at this triangle here. So that now is a leg, that is a leg, and that is the hypotenuse. So let's figure this one out. So if I say radical 2 squared plus 1 squared equals the new c squared. I'll draw a line to separate the problems. So when you square radical 2 times radical 2 is radical 4. Radical 4 is really just 2 plus 1 squared is 1 equals c squared. So 3 equals c squared. C equals the square root of 3, radical 3. So let's write that in there, radical 3. Now you have a third triangle where this is a leg, and this is the unknown, a, b, c. So we'll do it over here. Radical 3 squared plus 1 squared equals c squared, the third c squared. Maybe you're seeing a pattern here. Anyway, square root of 3 squared is radical 3 times radical 3, which is radical 9, which really just means 3. Plus 1 equals c squared. 4 is c squared, and in this case, the square root of that and that is just 2. So that value is 2. And that's the 3 answers. The first one, second one, third one, which is equal to 2. Cool. Real life problem. Real life problem. So the distance between each base is 90 feet. That's what you see here. And they want to know the distance from home plate to second base, right? From home plate to second base. So this is a right angle here. So if we say 90 squared plus 90 squared equals the hypotenuse here, c squared, or they called it x, so let's use that. And use our handy dandy calculator to square this. Now you know this is like 9 squared and 9 squared, but you know, don't think too much. 90 squared is 8100. Wow. Okay, 8100 plus another 8100 equals x squared. So double that, right? 16,200 equals x squared. Now it doesn't say anything about leaving it in simplest radical form. And let's be honest about this. We never say, oh, how far is it from here to here? We never have a radical in that answer. So let's actually get the square root of 16,200. So if we take 16,200 square root, we get 127.27 feet. So x is approximately equal to 127 we'll call it 3. Let's see if we're right. Oops. Yes, 127.6. They say point nothing. They just say 127 feet. Okay, last problem after I tear the page in half. Okay, wheelchair ramp. Landing, this is the landing here. That people enter in a restaurant is 2 feet higher than the street level, so that's that little distance there. And the safety standards require for every 1 foot of rise on the wheelchair ramp, there must be a run of 12. So, you know, rise and run. So basically, if this was 1 foot, this would be 12. Since this is 2 feet high, this needs to be 24. Okay? It's just a proportion. So basically, they want to know how far x is. So these are the two legs. 2 squared plus 24 squared equals x squared. 4 plus, I don't know if you know, 24 squared is 576. Yeah. Plus 576 equals x squared. Add those together. 580 equals x squared. And it says round your answer to the nearest tenth. That means we're going to be using an approximation. So if we take the square root of 580, 24 point, so x is approximately, to the nearest tenth would be 24.1. Well, let's see if that's what we have here. Yes, magic, we got it right. But clearly that means that that ramp is not much longer than the actual bottom here itself, just because it doesn't have to rise that much. And then the last problem right down here, would a 25-foot ramp work? Well, yes. How far would the ramp be from the base of the landing? So they're saying that the answer is yes. How far would this 25-foot ramp be from the base of... Sorry, a little video hiccup. So what they're saying is if this ramp is 25 feet and it's still 2 feet high, they're telling you have a 5-foot ramp, but they want to know this distance here. So all they're doing is kind of turning this problem around on you. Now this is still A, this is still B, and now this is C. So 2 squared plus B squared equals 25 squared. 4 plus B squared equals, this is 625. Don't take my word for it. Subtract 4, B squared equals 621. And we want to know the square root of 621. So let's use our handy dandy calculator. 24.9. So B is approximately 24.9. Let's see if we're right. And we are right. Indeed. Okie dokie. Now you're done. Have fun. See you later. This time I'll say goodbye in Swedish. That's hej då.